What's up, y'all? It's Will here at Schedulefly. This is another quick episode just with some thoughts about how we run this business that certainly would translate to running a restaurant or any other business. But I'm not being very aggressive right now with trying to get people lined up to do interviews for this podcast, in large part because people are really struggling right now with finding time to do this stuff because they can't get people to work. I do talk to a lot of owners still, and without question, almost everywhere in the country, they're saying they either can't get staff, which is one issue, and the bigger issue lately seems to be they can't get any managers. Meaning they can't get them to come to work, meaning they just can't find anybody to take the job. A lot of them are, back in the restaurants themselves. A lot of these owners are, when they may not have been in a long time, sort of on a day-to-day managing the business, working in the business versus on the business. It's a weird time right now. So if you're in the restaurant industry, you can relate. And by the way, if you are in the industry, if you're a Schedulefly customer, I guess I should point out, and you'd like to be on the podcast and you're an owner, please do contact us. Support@schedulefly.com. I'll get those. Send an email over. I'd love to interview you. But right now I've got a long list of folks I'd like to speak to, just and kind of laying low on following up, asking for their time, probably for another month or so. In the meantime, this is a post that Wes resurfaced. It was on our blog 7 years ago. And I wrote this post because I was going on a camping trip to the North Carolina mountains one weekend 7 years ago. Friday night, me and three of my buddies are driving up to the mountains, and I had to turn the music off. It was like it's probably 6:30, 7 o'clock at night on a Friday night, and I turned the music off. I had gotten a phone call from somebody who was in trial with Schedulefly, and so I called him back, and he just had a couple of questions, mainly being that he had been in trial for, I think his trial was coming to an end. It's a 30-day free trial, and he was getting close to wrapping up the trial, but he hadn't really used Schedulefly yet. He had just put his staff in. He's like, what do I need to do? Do I just start paying, and then we'll just pay for a month and see if it works? And I said, no, of course not. We'll just extend your trial. And he said, well, how long can you extend it? I said, well, how long do you need? He's like, I don't know. Could we do another 2 or 3 weeks? I said, man, you just tell us how long you need, and it's totally fine. And he said, well, don't I need to, do I start paying now? Do I give you, when do I pay? I said, man, you just pay when you're ready. And he just said, really? And I said, yeah, you'll just take as long as you need. Tell us when you're ready. If it works out for you, then, you want to start using Schedulefly, then you can start paying then. And so I got done with the call, and we kept driving, and my friend sat there for a minute. He looked at me and he said, Will, y'all run that thing like a general store. And he said, y'all run that thing like some old timers running a general store. And he just kind of laughed, and I laughed. And it was not meant as a slight. It was meant as a compliment. It was meant as something that I think, he was trying to grow a business at the time, and he very successfully did do that. But I think he was just in some ways envious. But I want to read this post that I wrote after, when I got back that later that week. I wrote this post on our blog that we had at the time, and it was literally titled, "Why We Run Schedulefly Like a General Store." So here it is. My friend once said to me about Schedulefly, y'all run that business like you're some old timers running a general store. It's so true. I love that analogy. But why do you say that? And why do you think it's so accurate? Well, we both spent time in the North Carolina mountains in Valley Crucis, and there's a great general store there that has been around forever. It's legendary. When my friend made his comment, he had this place in mind. You can probably imagine it. It's run by a few old timers who have never lost sight of the importance of getting the basics right every day. They don't have everything, but they have everything you need when you're spending time in Valley Crucis. They know who their customers are and what they want. They've taken the time and care to make decisions for those customers. narrowing the choices down so people don't have to stand there trying to decide between 15 different types of product. Their prices aren't super cheap, but they definitely don't compete on price. They compete on the experience they offer. They don't apply any sales pressure because there are no commission salespeople. You rarely have questions because everything is laid out so nicely. Nothing is cluttered. Your time there is defined by words like warm, welcoming, simple, pleasant, and easy. Mind you, if you need assistance, you'll receive great service. If you approach one of the folks at the register and ask a question, they'll smile, look you directly in the eye, happily answer your question in a very friendly way, and then let you go on your way. Or heck, if you want to join in on their conversation, they'll readily pull up a chair and welcome you. Otherwise, they hang out behind the cash register, sitting in rocking chairs, staying out of your way, telling stories and one-liners. You hear a lot of belly laughs. It's not they don't work hard on their business. You can tell they are in there after hours, dusting, sweeping, refolding clothes, restocking items, tidying up, making sure everything feels right. And it's not like they have no marketing savvy. They know people often harken back to the good old days. So they deliberately help preserve a little bit of our past. Finally, it's not like they don't care intensely about building a very successful business. In fact, it's all they care about because they love the business so much. They don't have anybody to answer to but themselves, and they put the same tender care and patience into their business that they would in raising their children. So rather than risk spoiling it by trying to do too much or grow too fast, they take very careful care to get the basics right over and over and over. And win customers slowly, one at a time, every day, every week, every year, every decade. All this means the experience you have when you go to the store is more pleasant and relaxing than the experience you have with almost any other business anywhere. It's unfortunately such a common experience these days that you relish it. It's unfortunately such a uncommon experience these days that you relish it, I should have said. You feel compelled to tell others about it. In fact, you don't just tell others, you rave to others. You won't shut up about this place until finally, when one of the people you have told is in Valley Crucis, they feel obligated to give this general store a try and see for themselves what it's all about. And they walk in the door, and a few old-timers are sitting around smiling. One of them jumps up, looks your friend in the eye, smiles honestly, and says, "Welcome. Let us know if we can help you with anything." And your friend already feels at home. So that's the post. That's how we run this business. It's how we have for 15 years. It's how we will as long as we're running it. And I think a lot of you that listen to this podcast run your businesses like that as well. But it's always good to hear it. I mean, heck, Wes sent that over, and he was saying how he was rereading that, and I reread it, and we both enjoyed rereading it. It's just a great reminder of how we want to always treat people, how we want to take care of people, how we view our business, how we want people to feel when they interact with us at Schedulefly. And many of you that run successful restaurants feel the same. Thank you all for listening. Again, if you're an owner or you run a restaurant or a hospitality business and you'd like to be on the podcast, tell your story, rap about anything that's on your mind, get in touch. And we do limit it to Schedulefly customers. We've got so many thousands of great people that we're so fortunate to serve that we've always really just focused on having people on the show that are part of this community that we've built. But if you fit that criteria, then please do get in touch. We'd love to have you on. support@schedulefly.com. And that's a wrap, y'all. We'll talk again soon. See you.